In this video we're going to be finding out if this Polar Pacer watch is any good. What's up guys, my name's Fordy and welcome along to Fordy Runs. This video we are going to be talking about this watch from Polar, the Pacer. Now, the guys at Polar sent us two watches for review purposes. We're not getting paid by Polar. They've not sent us any scripts or anything like that, right? They just sent us a couple of watches to review on the channel. Now, the reason I mention that is because they sent us the Pacer and the Pacer Pro. Now, I said to Speedgoat, which one do you want? Okay, both, and he just went, both. Thanks very much, I'm taking the Pro. So I've been testing the Pacer. So the Pacer is like the budget, yeah, I'd say budget watch out of the two. It's not got like the features like the navigation on it and some of the altitude stuff, some of the wrist power and that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about that when Speedgoat reviews the Pro version. So this is more of a back to basics watch, which actually I kind of like. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm not very good at reviewing running watches. In fact, I'm terrible at reviewing running watches. Why? Because I don't go into a hell of a lot of detail and I really only talk about the stuff that I like to use, because for me, I'm, you know, an everyday runner, a bit of an idiot when it comes to tech, and there's only certain things that I like from a running watch. Now that includes the fact that the GPS locks in really quickly, that it's really simple to use in terms of pushing the buttons, and I get my data on my app when I finish. That's it for me. That's all I need. You know, the stuff on the data screens is good, you know, pace, average pace, heart rate, that kind of stuff. But that's all I need. I don't need anything other than that. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the Pacer and what you get on it. So the box arrives, lovely box from the guys at Polar. Like I said, it's £170. In that box, you've got the charger and the other bits and bobs. There's a free strap in there as well. Now, in terms of size-wise, the watch is 45mm size case, 11.5mm thick. It's about 40 grams in weight. We've got a 1.2-inch screen, 240 by 240 pixels. It's a non-touch screen display. It's water-resistant up to about 50 metres apparently. We've got support for 4-key satellite systems with an improved antenna design according to Polar. You've got the Polar Precision Prime Optical HR sensor, which you can plug in some of the external straps to as well. We've got stuff on here like interactive training, suggested workouts and those kind of cool things. Like I said earlier, it doesn't have the nav. It's a smartwatch, you've got smart features on it. And then finally, battery life, we've got 100 hours in power save mode and 35 hours in sort of GPS and heart rate monitoring mode. Okay, so that was very quickly some of the tech, and that's probably the tech that I care about the most. Let's now do the things I like. Okay, so I like the lightness of it. I like the price as well, by the way, but I like the lightness of it. I like the feel of the watch. It's 100% like plasticky feel, but it feels great. I like the fact that you can detach the straps and change them quite easily. There's like pins on the back there. That's really simple to do. I like the way it fits onto my wrist. It's one of those watches very much like the Garmin 55 that's not intrusive, it's not heavy, it doesn't feel like you've got a watch on or anything like that. I like the ease of use of it. You're going to get used to like the way the buttons are. They're a little bit different to like a Garmin or a Coros, but that's fine. I've got no issue with that. I kind of expect that. I like the app. There's plenty of data on there. I really like the app actually. So that's very easy to use as well. What was the other things I liked about using the watch? The last thing that really comes to mind is the battery life. The battery life's been good. I've been wearing it for like the sleep monitoring and stuff like that, and that's kind of worked fine in terms of the battery life, so I've been impressed with that. Actually, how quickly it charges as well is good. I like that as well. And yeah, they're probably the main things that I like about the watch. Now, there's a couple of things I don't like. Firstly, I think the display's too small. You've got this like massive bevel here. They've lost so much space that they could have got from just removing that. So the display's a little bit small for my liking. I don't like the GPS. I'm really struggling with the GPS, especially in London when I'm running at lunchtime. It seems to take forever, if at all, to lock in on here, even though it's got, what did I say it was? 4-key satellite systems. But the GPS on it, it takes an eternity, and I've been running it with my Garmin at the same time, and it's very noticeable the difference in terms of the locking on of the GPS. I don't particularly like the smart features on it. I think they're a bit, I don't know, like 5 years ago in terms of technology. It just, I don't know, yes, it's a basic watch, right? Yes, and I don't like to use the word budget, but you get what you pay for. But still, I think the smart features are, you know, like 5 years ago in terms of what you're getting and the ease of use. I think it could be a lot easier, a lot more user-friendly in terms of using it, and the clarity of the messages and all that kind of stuff. It's just, yeah, it's just me probably being me, but I just think it could do with a little bit of a upgrade in terms of the smart features and how they come across in terms of the user experience. In terms of the heart rate monitor, it's okay. I don't pay that much attention to the heart rate monitors on the watches anymore. If I'm going to go and train to heart rate, then I'll wear a heart rate monitor, strap or whatever, a device. So I don't really necessarily pay too much attention to the data that's coming off the wrist-based watch. I did notice there's a few spikes versus my Garmin, but you know, you're going to get that. But yeah, it's okay. It's doing it to like what it probably should do. I didn't really pay that much interest in it because it's not something that I'm training to at the moment, and if I was, like I said, I would be using an external device. Right, okay, I think that's it in terms of dislikes. Let's sum it up. I don't like these videos to go on for too long. I think the Pacer is a good entry level watch. I think you're going to miss not having navigation on it. I really like having the navigation feature on my watches. I think in terms of the overall user experience, the Garmin is probably better. That said, I think it does everything you'd want pretty much well. Yeah, pretty well. That's probably a fair way to do it. This is not going to, you know, turn the lights off for you, but it's going to switch on if you can finally get GPS. It will lock in. You'll be able to do your run, you'll be able to get the data on the Polar app, which is very good, and you'll get all the bits and bobs. It fits really nice. I like the lightweight design. I wish the screen was bigger and easier to read. Maybe it's just me getting old. But overall, it's competent. It's not earth-shattering, and it does feel a little bit older in terms of tech. So I'm hoping that the sort of next watch incarnation they do of this, you know, they move it along a bit, because obviously they've got the ability at Polar because they're a great company. So yeah, so that's where I'm kind of at. It's going to be interesting to see how Tobe's got on with the Pro, because that's got the navigation, the wrist-based power and all that sort of stuff, and he's going to be geeking out about all that. But yeah, I think it's worth a look, right? I like the buttons. I think it's, you know, it's well put together. It's definitely a good alternative to Garmin and Coros for sure. I prefer this over the Coros. Pace 2 is probably the one this goes up against. I probably prefer this over the Coros. But I don't know, I'm stuck between the Garmin and this, but maybe because I'm a Garmin junkie, that's probably why I probably sway towards that. But yeah, it's okay. It's an entry-level watch. It does, you know, the basics right, which is, like I said at the start, the most important thing for me. Does it switch on? Does it monitor my run? Can I look at the data and geek out afterwards? Yeah, I can do all that. So, you know, £170 is probably not the worst decision you can make to get it.